Let me pull up my Dirge notes, because I actually took extensive notes this time.
Yeah, Curtis came fucking strapped this week. More strapped than Vincent Valentine, who is 3 guns deep. Actually, is Vincent even 3 guns deep in this game?
At this point, yes.
3 barrels and 3 guns.
Yeah,
he's at least 9 barrels deep.
Yeah, because it's hard to tell because you can just mix and match. I think we talked about this a little bit, but we can just be juggling through all of the shit. He might just be that fast.
Actually, now that I think about it, when you add like the long barrel to a gun, does it replace all 3 barrels or just the 1 barrel? Like 1 barrel of the 3. You know what I mean?
They're heavily manufactured too, because you can just go up to a jukebox and get like any of that shit.
Yeah, they must be
want.
Like. Yeah, it's super available. There's no gun laws in that world.
I wonder what that's like.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point, because you have 3 guns that you can have customizable to whatever you want. But when you unequip those items, eventually you'll have more than 3 guns worth of parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got that big cape, so like he has the room to store them. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I actually want to talk about that cape and just Vincent Valentine in general. Because recently we watched Advent Children.
Well, Carl and I did.
True. Vincent's movement in
I didn't sully my eyes.
Vincent's movement in that movie, in that film, is so fucking cool. He's like all ethereal and stuff, and he's like, he looks like a fucking ghost, and he's just jumping all over the place. And in this, he can't even fucking climb a goddamn ladder or jump over like a small
the whole fight
gap.
scene's going on. There's like the Sorcerer Supreme's cape, but it's just like a sentient, just like kind of cloak zooming around like a vampire ghost shit. And it's like, what is this weird red thing splattering all over the fight?
Curtis, I don't want to spoil it for you or anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but Vincent's like
don't spoil this 20-year-old movie for me.
They first razz him for not having a phone.
Well, yeah, that's very, very good. His first appearance in Advent Children is fucking awesome. It's so goddamn cool, yeah. Even as a 32-year-old fucking cynic, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, that shit owns.
Well, you know what I noticed about Vincent this episode?
He's very wet.
He's got very wide childbearing hips. I was like, ooh, his hips as wide as his shoulders, but his midsection as thin as his arms.
He has proportions of like a Sailor Moon Scout, but like the build of like a xenomorph.
I want to talk about we can talk about xenomorphs here in a minute because I do have something to say about that. I told Carl this earlier before recording. This is the first chapter in the game that I've truly felt my mind slipping away from me. And I don't know if it's these times that we live in. I don't know if it's my age catching up with me. But as I was watching, I played this section like a couple weeks ago, and then I just watched a playthrough of it last night and took notes. And as I was watching it, I had that moment where I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Podcast is over. It's canceled.
I'm watching this fucking game for the second time. Like, I don't know if is this game the worst game I've ever played, but I love it? Or is it like really good and I fucking hate it? I don't know.
Well, if you want to have an existential crisis over watching gameplay of Dirge of Cerberus, I've been throwing them on my YouTube, so you can check it out, where I just kind of talk about how it's shitty the whole time.
10 out of 10, perfect game.
I also did want to say that Vincent has a body like an hourglass and it's ticking like a clock, but I wanted to make sure I had the correct lyrics there, and I was frantically Googling, and then I found another thing, and I was like, that doesn't sound like the song that I'm thinking of. But yeah, he is in the business of misery, and that misery is...
and then he pops a limit break.
But previously we saw a nice little flashback through the eyes of Vincent being mutated in Hojo's lab underneath Shinra Manor, and some view from inside a test chamber or test tube, and you see Lucretia there. And then we flash over to current day, where Vincent is still in a test tube. But
Vincent's still in a test tube,
fully clothed,
floating in Baja Blast, and he looks right at the camera and says, "This is the Every FNFF podcast. My name is Curtis.
My name is Carl Valentine."
My name's Alex, and I'm scribbling on the glass to say, let's make a break for it. Wait till lunch. That's when we'll make our break.
So one of the things I like about this game is that, like, in some respects, like, so the game is actually like we said the first episode, it looks pretty good. Like, I like the look of this game, and I think like the cutscenes are very well done.
All the characters look super cool.
All the characters look super cool, but I noticed that they couldn't give a floating animation for Vincent in the vat, so he's actually just standing on the ground.
He's T-posing, his hands are clipping through the vat itself.
It's those iron boots.
But he's fully clothed, hands to his side, A-posing, I suppose, and just like standing in the vat.
Standing in the back to tank, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. I was just like, this looks very awkward.
Yeah, they didn't want to give him floaty physics. They basically, for the mechanics of the game, just had him stand in a glowy tube and just put a bubbly texture in front of him.
Like, his cape is clearly not buoyant because it's still entirely affected by gravity, even though he's like submerged in a liquid.
All the bubbles are going up, not.
It makes as much sense as the flag in the lunar landing video. That's going to be our big thing this season. We are moon truthers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We didn't have enough to do, so we just decided to make that part of our personality.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we're in Shalua's lab or something, because Shalua's here.
Well, she tells us.
So we saw her at the end of last episode after we went full sicko mode and then passed out and comically went completely stiff and fell backwards because they didn't feel like animating more about that, I guess. And then we saw her walking towards us. So it's safe to assume she took us to where, I guess, WRO Headquarters, which is fitting for the title of this chapter.
She tells that to us pretty much immediately too. That
after she takes Vincent out of the tube.
Yeah,
he's not in here the whole time.
What if Vincent it's just the fucking treehouse of horror with Al Gore or Bob Dole?
Yeah, Bob Dole.
What the hell is this? Some kind of tube?
Shalua, let us out. Yeah, so she lets him out. Says that she carried Vincent here to the WRO headquarters from Edge, and she's like, "Oh, that beast inside you, it went a little wild back there." And Vincent's like, "Oh, do you mean chaos?" And then she says, "Chaos? Your body harbors the chaos gene?" And in my notes, I wrote down, "Chaos gene, Lord help me." Like, I'm losing my mind playing this game right now. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, because it's so cool, right? Right?
Super cool.
The chaos gene.
The chaos gene.
Those special genes.
Sounds like a
designer jeans.
A pop-up store, a pop-up store in a dying mall. It's just like chaos jeans that like it's right next to the GNC vitamin supplement store and the fucking psychic that's there for some reason.
But Shalua says, "Oh, that explains your relationship with Dr. Lucretia Crescent. Were you the product of one of her experiments?" And like Vincent looks like maybe a little surprised, like he didn't understand that like
experiments.
Lucretia was doing experiments. Like he may not have been aware of that.
Yeah.
But then Shalua says, "I apologize, that's not what I meant." So like, did she think that was like a euphemism or soming?
I guess
I took it as this is new information to Vincent, where he's been like kind of creepily, depending on how you read it, either very romantically or very creepily obsessing over Lucretia.
Yeah.
And, thought that there was this thing going on, and then this new information's coming to light where she's like, "Oh shit, you didn't know that you were actually being experimented on by her." Like, sorry, that's not what I meant. Like, I'm sure she likes you too.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
Wait, Lucretia was researching chaos?
Don't tell me you didn't know.
Yeah.
Every conversation with any like NPC is just like, we gotta like dump some info on you.
Yeah, or it's like a conversation with Aaron where they tell you just enough to like keep you on the line, and you're like, "Oh shit, that sounds cool. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?" And then just fucking silence.
But she says,
Reeve couldn't have texted him some like updates.
Lucretia said, or not Lucretia, I'm sorry. Shalua says that Lucretia was a Shinra Class A scientist specializing in biotechnology, and says that she made like this like really famous research thesis that like I guess she's like known for, in which she was researching sentient xenoforms. And then in my notes, I also wrote down xenoforms. God help me.
God help me. I'm about to go back to the old me.
Xenoform Chronicles 3 coming this year.
Xenoform. Chaos gene.
I can't believe Lucretia ended her thesis direct with xenoforms instead of Mario Kart 9. Actually, I guess they had Mario Kart in there, but it doesn't count.
Animorphs.
This game is making me go insane.
But it's so like Vincent starts dissociating as well because Shalua goes on to say something, and the subtitles trail off. But she does mention that Professor Gast took interest in her findings.
Okay,
so there's a connection there as well.
And then Vincent asks to see the thesis, and then she's like, "Oh, sorry, like it's been lost to time. She never submitted it to Shinra's database, so." All I know is what I could read about it. So I guess she hasn't read the thesis, but she's read things about it. Which actually doesn't make a lot of sense, because later in this conversation, she quotes a large portion of it at length. So
I think, yeah, she says that she just has only seen a couple pages of it, right?
So maybe they were like office buddies or some shit, and she like just saw it on like her desk or something.
Maybe.
It's like, oh, don't walk, I'm not finished yet.
There's nothing I would want less to do at work than to read my fucking coworker's thesis on biotechnology. Just let me fix your fucking computer, dude.
I feel like it's the first boss that I had at whatever company I work for. Mysterious. The very first boss I ever had there, like, he would send out emails, like, but he was so bad at it because he would get like really furious and like type up an email, and then I would be like, can you please let me see that email? Can I please read your work before you send it out? And like it would have all these like typos and shit in it, and like it'd be addressing it to the wrong person. So like I understand the need to read your coworkers' work sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shalua is just like, yeah, you don't want to have this this little tangent here about Grimace from McDonald's. You want to take that out. You need to spell this word correctly. So she do a little proofreading and remembers it.
Give us the Grimace cut.
So yeah, we do see a quick shot because Shalua goes over to like I guess a computer, right, and just like brings up like her file or whatever, Lucretia's file.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we see her birthday.
It's July 22nd.
July 22nd. Happy birthday.
She's a Cancer.
Squad. Cancer Squad.
But yeah, not much happens else because Reeve comes in, right?
Reeve does come in. And then he says, oh, Vincent, you've recovered already. And then the scene changes because we don't care what Reeve has to say.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah. Done with him.
So now we're in a, because he fucking broke down the fucking wall in Calm, we're in a kind of a Airbnb style setup where they're just like in a, looks like they're just in like a random bedroom or just some living room.
Yeah.
The girl and Azul.
Yeah.
Whose name we still don't know yet.
Yes.
At this point.
That's correct. She's doing the thing I like to do the most and going on the computer, but we don't know to what end, I guess.
She is logging in, which is never recommended, but
she
logging
is on.
She is seated down and ready to get pissed off.
She is heatedly typing, and so we can only assume that she is engaging in Twitter discourse.
Oh boy, yeah.
Rat-a-tat.
Whomst amongst us?
She has left a glowing materia orb on the desk next to her, or the table next to her.
Indeed.
Azul asks,
what is the status of our keeper?
Yeah, our keeper.
His location remains unchanged since the confrontation. We can assume this is the WRO Headquarters.
Good. 2 birds with 1 stone.
I guess they're like tracking Vincent, and they're excited that like, oh cool, we get to like ransack WRO.
Yeah,
to him.
That's kind of how I took it. But it's a little mysterious. Ooh. And that's the end of that scene. It's just those like 2 or 3 lines. And we go back to the headquarters.
These scenes are a little clunky, but I mean, I think the acting and like animations are good. It's just like sometimes the direction just feels a little sometimes stilted or blocked really strangely. Where
Speaking
there's
of
just
like
an empty room and like someone's just walking across the screen.
Speaking of like blocking and things like that and like camera work or whatever, I have many things to say this episode. We're not there yet, but there's some choices this game makes. But yeah, we're back in the next scene. We're at WRO headquarters again.
Vincent has caught Reeve up on what Rosso said to him last episode.
Yeah. Reeve's like, oh, it's the key to controlling Omega. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
The protomateria, the key to controlling Omega.
And then
says,
Shalua says a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
This is her time to shine after Reeve had his little waxing poetic.
And just like to set the scene, nobody asks Shalua to like fucking recite the fucking poetry.
Yeah, Shalula, can you drop a soliloquy real quick?
Yeah.
Let me know if you need any props so I can go and grab some.
To be fair, it's not her writing. It's Lucretia's writing.
True.
It is, which she's never seen before.
Soul wrought of terra corrupt, quelling impurity, purging the stream, to beckon forth an ultimate fate. Behold mighty chaos, Omega's squire to the lofty heavens.
Sounds like something that Vice would be talking about, all cleansy and chaotic. And
yeah.
But it was like, Reeve recognizes it seems, and Shalua's...
Yeah, everyone's read this fucking mystery thesis, it seems. Like,
yeah, the mystery thesis that nobody's read or seen. Everybody's read it and seen it.
Yeah. I only read it in a dream.
A passage from Dr. Crescent's thesis. It was behind a paywall, so I could only see the first sentence.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, she says, I've only seen a few fragments of it. Again, we've mentioned before.
However, Chaos, Omega, and she looks at Vincent, they all seem to be connected to Dr. Crescent in some way. There's no other explanation.
Now, so, I haven't read too many academic papers in my time, but I'm pretty sure the goal of those is to not write it like you're fucking Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And it's more so to be concise about your like terminology and explain what the fuck you're talking about. This is like a Final Fantasy IV legend.
Yeah, the reason that like nobody has seen the thesis is not because like it's like this hidden manuscript. It's because when she submitted it to like the science journal, they were like, no. They just
peer review is like,
yeah, it never made it past any peer review at all. So no one's ever seen it because it never got like published. Every respectable journal was just like, we can't put this in there.
It's like, this fucking paper is so up its own goddamn ass.
And I would like to say that, like, again, I'm armchair game deving here, right? Like, this is not fair of me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're in a cool computer room. Like, we're in like a room with many monitors and computers, and it's like Shalua's laboratory, right? Like, there's a lot here. There's a lot of assets, right? And an alarm begins to go off because something's happening, and none of the screens go red or anything. Like, none of the consoles light up or whatever. The alarm is just a very slight red tinge that just kind of comes onto the screen and then goes
like
away. And I was like,
an Instagram filter, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you had so many opportunities to do something cool. Like, you could have actually made this scene badass, and you didn't. You'd have made all the screens go red. It would have been great.
Every time Reeve shows up, we get an alarm.
Yeah, a little sus. A little bit sus.
But we get a cutaway. We see the outside of WRO Headquarters, which is somewhere. We don't know what town we're in.
Yeah.
It's just an office building.
I do like how generic office building it looks.
Yeah.
But it has like a hangar out front, I guess, for like warehouse or, shipments and stuff that looks kind of a little more heavy duty.
I really love this scene right here because the Deepground is storming the WRO headquarters, right? They're all like rushing it, and you see them like running up the stairs. But what I really like about this scene is that the stairs are really tiny. Like, they're not like wide stairs, so none of the soldiers can have like a big step, like a big gate, where they like walk up several stairs at once. So they're doing these tiny little baby steps, like like, but it's a ton of them, and there's like this, like, it's like very dramatic. It's like, oh shit, here they come, but they look so cute walking up like these little steps, but they're like little baby steps. Yeah, little tiptoes. I was like,
that's very silly.
It's good. That's a good choice. Out of all the bad art direction choice, this was good.
But we get some surveillance footage of Azul noticing the surveillance camera and calls over a sniper guy to take it out.
Yeah.
And we cut back to like headquarters or whatever we call it, the control room where we were, and there's just various footages of different hallways and stuff with like blast doors shutting and stuff. We're going to like panic mode.
Yeah.
Which isn't addressed later that like, okay, we see like a sequence of like 6 blast doors fucking
I
just
like
all
the blast
shutting.
door thing. I thought it was very cool because they come in
They
at
don't
like
say
different
how
angles.
they got by them though.
Well,
I just
think
assumed that it was Azul, right?
Azul
Punch and
punches
throw?
down a door. He does like blow up a door like by
Okay.
punching it. So I just assumed that he was doing that to all of them.
I think I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I don't know if I had this thought only this week or it's a thought that I keep forgetting that I'm having, but fucking Azul, like his face, I just realized who it makes me think of, and it's Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit, like with just slight face paint on, not the full
Yeah.
thing. It's like he looks like Wes Borland when you just see his face, which makes me like him so much fucking more. This dude
Yeah, what-
fucking shreds on guitar.
Yeah, Wes Borland rules.
Yeah, he's the fucking best.
But so they've breached WRO headquarters and they're in now, right? Because
Oh yeah, you're right. You did show him just like fucking punching it
Yeah.
down.
yeah, it shows some of the WRO members trying to fend them off, and like he punches through the door, and it like the explosion that happens from when he punches a door like throws
Probably what
some
Rosa
of
did
them
to
away.
punch through that wall that Vincent jumped over.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then we see Shalua looking through the security cameras, and she sees that little Kingdom Hearts footed girl walking in as well, right? And she says, "What? It couldn't be.
What are those?
What are those?" and then gameplay begins. It's game time.
Yeah, and boy does that gameplay really just kick right the fuck in. There is actually one moment of something that happens before the gameplay kicks in, and it's just a shot of Vincent, and you see like a door open, like an elevator.
Oh,
or
that's
something,
true.
And he's just standing completely stiff with his gun in the air, and then he like slowly, like stiffly runs out of the elevator, and it's very funny.
Well, you know what's better about that shot is when you have the long barrel equipped because it clips through the door. So you just see the barrel like, what is that? And then it opens like, oh, it's Vincent.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so when I was playing this, like last time, I watched all the cutscenes and waited until like I could save the game and go back to the main menu. And right as that was happening, it just starts off and it says like help the WRO members or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and they're just immediately under fire. Like it's literally just you're in the middle of a battle, which is like fine and it makes sense in the thing. But when I was like trying to pause the game to quit out, I couldn't because it had the title screen card being like, here's your mission objective. And I just saw all my friends getting shot. I was like, oh shit. It's really not pulling any punches.
I forgot to look at the map on this because like there isn't really too much direction of where you're supposed to go.
The map is
Yeah.
super handy in this section.
I think I did at one point, but I didn't really like end up using it that much. I was just
Yeah,
kind of like going to wherever I could, because it's the layout of this is it's kind of just, you know, like you're in a lobby of an office building and there's a lot of steps going up, so you kind of just go up to other floors. It's almost like you're in like a small mall that just keeps going up and up. Instead of having a lot of wings outward, it just goes upward.
There's like floors
would
with no
you
rooms.
Would you say that the podcast has finally come all the way back around and we're in fact in an atrium right now?
Yeah, this
Oh,
is an
yeah.
atrium. This is an atrium looking ass atrium.
I really like the music that plays during this level. It's very kind of it's very Splinter Cell-esque. Like it has this kind of like just kind of sneaky, like intense orchestral stabs, but there's like this little kind of sneaky clarinet going over the whole
I
thing.
wrote in my
Yeah.
notes jazz oboe ?
Like, but it definitely reminds me of like the Chaos Theory soundtrack that Avon Tobin did, which is like kind of breakbeat and like
Yeah.
jazzy at the same time.
It is really
just-
good.
I like it.
Yeah,
It's not what I
it-
expected from like your bass being just completely
Yeah,
run down.
yeah, right.
Yeah, the soundtrack in this game is really, really good.
It is.
I'm digging it.
But yeah, so when we start out, we're on the first floor. We're actually in the lobby area, and we can kind of fight both the people on the second floor and the first floor at the same time. So they can shoot down at us, we can shoot up at them, and we can take out the people on the first floor. There's a jukebox down here if you need to buy items or whatever. replenish.
You
for the
might want to
fight.
stop there now and pick up what you need because that's the last jukebox you're going to see for a while. Not really. There's like fucking there's one on like every floor.
Well, we definitely see this one a couple times too because we have to come back here.
Yeah, I saw that one and I was like, shit, I wonder if I should go down there and buy some stuff before I proceed forward. And then I was like, whatever, fuck it, I don't care. And I went forward and then like literally the next room I was like, oh, here's another one. Which I'm not complaining about, that's fine. Like, give me more of those things.
But yeah, we go upstairs, or I guess they're ramps I'm actually looking at now. They didn't even render to the stairs.
It's
there are enemies on certain floors, and some of them have key cards, so you can go up to the next floor and stuff like that.
they're ADA compliant. They're you wheelchair up them.
Oh yeah,
Maybe they're in slide mode to keep like enemies away. They just turn into little slip and slides.
Yeah. They turn into the Mr. Burns slide. You pull the lever and slide down it.
But yeah, it's as long as you keep track of what floor you're on, it's not too difficult. Like I know the first, I guess on the second floor you fight off some dudes. You get a key card. You can go up to the next floor, and then you go around and like, okay, there's a gate here, but there's guys on the other side, and you find that there's actually doors going into rooms and corridors on the side.
Yeah,
which you can easily miss if you're not really used to going through doors in this game.
Yeah,
because again, they're very kind of low profile.
We are
everything's blue.
Everything is blue. We're introduced.
It's a nice color of blue, though.
It is. It is. Hey, the area looks really nice. I also noticed that all the floors have like the New York Stock Exchange ticker on them. Like there's like text going around all the floors that look kind of like the Stock Exchange ticker.
Oh yeah.
But we're introduced to a new enemy type here too, as I like to call them, the Chonky Boys. And so there's some big, thick lads that appear in this area with rocket launchers. So yeah. So they just knock you down.
Isn't it just
constantly.
the same model as the last boss?
It may be.
It's a very similar one, if not the exact same. But I was thinking about that, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, didn't I just have to like actually fight this guy? Now they're just throwing a bunch of them at me." And Mr. Zwanzig pointed out, like, yes, but this guy doesn't have a sword, so therefore he is much weaker.
That's right. Not as cool.
Maybe less pauldrons.
Yeah.
But I like that, like, this first section, they just give you the runaround for this elevator because you see that there is a exposed elevator in the middle of the atrium, right? Like you can get to, and you're like, okay, I need to go to that elevator. And every time you're almost to that elevator, like some enemies get on it and ride it one more floor up. And I was like, oh, I hate this game. Like, let me get on that goddamn elevator. And my favorite switcheroo is when you finally get to the top floor to take it. They get in it and take it back down one floor, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, just insert the Benny Hill theme. Yakety Sax is playing. I didn't know that happened on every floor.
It's not every floor. It's not every floor. It's like twice they do it, but
yeah, I only noticed it at the end when I got to the top and saw them do that, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Like that, I can go and get that now." Like I just didn't even notice. That's even funnier though.
Yeah.
There's a cool little cutscene when you're about to go up to the fourth floor, because there's on the third floor there's like a catwalk that goes across the middle. Mm-hmm. And we see Shalua do a cool ass move.
Oh my
She's
goodness!
Walking across and like takes out a soldier.
Yeah,
who just jumps down with a knife.
He pulls a knife on her. I knew immediately. I was like, just look at Shalua. She's not gonna like get taken down by this. I was like, that is a fucking mistake, my friend.
You don't just get to have a robot arm. You have to earn the robot arm by being cool as shit.
Yeah.
This is the one Deepground soldier with a knife, no gun. but yeah, she easily like deflects him and like does a little flip and immediately whips out a gun from under her other arm and shoots a guy at the other end of the catwalk.
She like breaks their arm too. She like puts her shoulder up under her arm and just like pulls down on the arm. I was like, ooh, that's nice.
Some Seagal, like Steven Seagal Taekwondo type shit.
Have you seen the video of Steven Seagal demonstrating his martial arts?
Yeah, he looks so tired.
I'm certain I have.
It literally, he just had like whoever, like, I guess his students or whatever just run up to him and he just like lightly touches them and like they flip over and it's obviously so fake, but he's like, I'm going to show you how deadly my martial art is.
It's very much like Neo when he like is in the zone and just like kind of just lazily like just slapping away Agent Smith.
It's so fucking dumb and obviously so forced. Like there's people in the crowds just like laughing. That dude fucking awesome. Sucks. Fuck that guy.
In his contract, he's not allowed to lose any fight on a movie. Is the thing.
Oh, it's so dumb. His movies, they are definitely.
I was just watching a clip of this like it's a Chinese like made film where like he gets in a skiff with Mike Tyson, And it's very obvious that Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson were not on the set at the same time. So I think they just like shot it in a way that he didn't know that he lost, because there's a point where like it's very obviously like a stunt double getting taken the hit.
That's amazing.
That rules so much.
That's
God,
awesome.
Steven Seagal is such a piece of shit. I used to, with my dad, we used to watch a bunch of his movies whenever they were on like whatever HBO channel, and like we would just crack up the whole time, and like they're entertaining as hell, even though he sucks. And then we started watching Seagal Lawman, which is even fucking worse than his movies, where he just like, I forget what, I think it might have been in like Florida or something, where he just became a cop and he had a show about it. He was so fucking smug and full of himself the whole time, where he's like, he would like arrest some kids for having weed or something and be like, I really make these streets safer. And he would do shit. He would be like, you know, as a lifelong practitioner of the martial arts, I've had nothing but discipline in my life. And it just makes me feel bad for these kids that they are not lifelong practitioners of martial arts. And that if maybe they were, then they would be in different situations. Maybe they wouldn't be put into the situation where I have to throw them in jail because they have an ounce of weed. It's like, fuck you fucking asshole, you piece of shit.
There's a certain energy that I've learned not to trust, and it's those white guys who specialize in martial arts.
Yeah.
Between him and Chuck Norris, I'm like, these guys.
I'm pretty sure there was a whole thing, like a whole like sex ring thing with Steven Seagal at the center of it recently. Like, he's a fucking scumbag. Fuck that guy. I'll fucking fight Steven Seagal.
That being said, when I wake up, I do a little prayer and I say, please let me face the day with an ounce of like the self-love that Steven Seagal has. I need that confidence.
I thought you were going to say with an ounce of the weed that Steven Seagal locked a kid up for. Anyway, we make our way through more of these, I think, hallways or whatever. Find a door that I think there's
a couple hallways.
There's kind of an obvious door that we need to go in. I think there's like a light over top of it or something.
Yeah.
But we run in.
Oh, yeah, there's a turret. That's like,
oh, I forgot about the turret. The turret's so good.
I hate it.
We like turn a corner and we see like there's only one way to go, and we have to walk past like down a slight hallway where there's a giant fucking mounted turret gun just pointing directly
across the balcony.
Directly where we're going to be walking through. So I kind of just slowly started walking. There's a door behind it, and the door opens, and a guy comes running out to go and sit in that turret. But there's also a barrel there that you can just shoot. So I just shot the barrel and killed the guy before you could tell that he was trying to get into the turret and just died. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll just keep going then.
It's a silly thing where I just like, I know this guy's going to be being the ass. I'm just going to run to the door because he despawns after we come back out.
Oh, really?
Nice. You use the speed
you can just skip
again.
him.
That's awesome.
If you get to your door before he gets to this turret, it's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But we get to like, I'm assuming the command room, the command corridor.
Yes.
This corridor is really confusing. There's no way to tell which way is a hallway.
It's a very poorly designed one because like each direction has a little bit of a hallway, and so you run up and like you find a corner and you're like, oh, I guess I'll turn right because I can see there's a little hallway there. Oh, that's dead end. Maybe it was no, I can't go that way. Oh, it's to the left. Okay.
We have
every single intersection.
We have entered the House of Leaves, and we our first sign that something is wrong is when we measured the inside of the house and found that it was like 1/4 of an inch bigger on the inside than it was at the outside. Now we don't know which way is up.
The setup of the sequence is that we
come
up on a WRO member.
My favorite saying in the game thus far. This quote this WRO member says is thus far my favorite piece of dialogue.
Mr. Valentine! A sizable enemy unit is headed straight for the command center. Please, sir, you have to help the commissioner.
I only wish to be described as a sizable enemy unit.
That's going to be the next merch shirt that we make. Is just a sizable enemy unit with an arrow pointing down or perhaps up, whichever the folks want.
Oh my god.
So yeah, this sequence, which is partially infuriating because a timer just starts counting up. Don't worry.
Yeah, counting.
I noticed it when it was at 3 seconds, and I was like, "Fuck! I only have 3 seconds to do this." And then I was like, "Oh,
well,
okay."
I'm boned. Between the stress of the timer and like not being able to have peripheral vision while playing this game, because you can't see if there's a hallway to your left or right, you just like spin the camera.
Is there a snap turn? Do any of you know that?
That is a good question. It feels like there should be, but I don't know.
There's a camera reset buttons, which is handy. At least, so you can like, if you move, you can immediately like hit camera reset, and the camera will just go behind them.
Okay.
Or if you want to do a quick 180 or whatever.
You mean it has the Splatoon button? It has the
Yes,
Y button.
it has the Splatoon
Okay,
button.
Gotcha.
One of my favorite moments happens in this where even though this is a very confusing, set of hallways and stuff, and there's no like
Fucking
there are
House of Leaves
luckily
hallway.
there are luckily green arrows that are pointing in the direction that you should go, which I don't know. It
Are
doesn't
there?
seem-
I didn't even notice.
yeah,
there are.
It doesn't
wow.
seem
You
very
can't tell which direction they're pointing though, unless you're right next to them.
yeah, it doesn't
okay.
seem very
Oh.
conducive to protecting yourself, your commissioner, from enemy attack to have green arrows pointing to where he is. And also doesn't seem conducive for if you can't turn right.
This place is designed like those homes with stairways that lead nowhere to confuse ghosts.
Oh, the Winchester Mansion.
Yes.
Carl, did
But
you?
we do see two the dog mutants. We
That's
do
true.
see two sizable units, the heavy dudes.
Did you use your extreme Dark Souls knowledge and ability to avoid the Dark Souls boulder on the staircase?
I'm glad you mentioned that because abso-fucking-lutely not. I got owned and I immediately started laughing. I was just like, that's the most Dark Souls shit I've ever seen. So for those listening at home, what happens is you turn left and start running up a staircase, and before you even realize that you're running up a staircase, there is one of those flammable explosive barrels rolling down at you that hits you, and then Vincent comically does a backflip and gets, takes damage and stuff.
I love
You
the
didn't do a little
backflip.
roll
Yeah,
dodge?
yeah, I love the backflip animation. Like anytime you get hit by one of the rockets or one of the barrels, he does this real pathetic flop
Or when
on
a
the ground,
soldier
and I
melees
love
you.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Happens.
Yeah.
I forget that. Oh wait, they can punch back sometimes.
I feel
It's
like that's
really
got to
good.
suck in a speed run just because I feel like it takes
Oh my
forever
God,
for
I'm
you to
sure.
get control of Vincent again. I can probably actually time it.
When you're hit by a rocket and you do that, and you get up and they're already firing another rocket. If
Yeah,
you
they can
don't
just
get out of the
stun
way,
lock you.
you're like, God damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do too much damage, luckily, but it does hurt the pride quite a bit. Or just make you laugh because it's hilarious.
It's pretty hilarious.
So, I wish it kept the score of how long it took on the end screen, because I don't remember how long it took me to get to the end of this.
Yeah, I'm coming up at the end of mine, I think. I don't know if it actually matters with anything.
They mention it in the end, but they do it as a fraction. So I got 3 out of 4, which is I guess instead of there's certain
interesting. Okay.
tiers. If you I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's a score system. If it takes less than this amount of time, it's
How much of the commissioner did you save?
It took me 56 seconds to get here. You get to the end of it, there's another one of those card key things. It's not active, or at least it wasn't when I got there. I guess you might have to kill all of the enemies to get it to
Yeah, you
not
have
be
to
active.
kill all the enemies, yeah.
You can't just run past them, which you wouldn't be able to do anyway, because this hallway is 2 Vincent units wide, and there's usually 2 enemies right in front of you. So
VUs.
yeah, 2 VUs, yeah. But yeah, then we get a quick cutscene of one of the Deepground soldiers.
we go first person mode, which is really funny.
The way the camera lurches.
From Vincent's point of view, the perpendicular door that we're about to go in, we hear the door opens and we hear a "take that," and out punts flies a soldier against the wall, and out waddles Ketshi and Reeve.
And Reeve!
Notice
Yeah.
How are they?
raising
Wait,
more questions.
How does he control... Do you mean to tell me?
He's using Elon Musk's Neuralink that will have him dead by the end of this game. And he's also going through extreme suffering. That's why he's so insufferable as a character.
But
Don't
this
at me,
cutscene's
Muskie. This character sucks.
This cutscene feels like a I don't know, House of the Dead cutscene where it just feels so kind of throwaway.
Yeah.
Thank you for saving me.
Yeah.
I'm fine now. And it's just that's what happens. They knows Vincent there, and it's just don't worry, I'll be fine here.
To be fair, that's the maximum amount of interaction I want to have with Ketshi.
This is the scene where I was just yo, fuck this game. This is when I truly lost my mind, because a big a mission, a special mission pops up that's save the commissioner. It's timed. It's very important. And then you get to the end of the hallway and he's like, no, I'm fine. And I was like, are you serious?
Don't worry, I'll be fine here.
I was thinking about that too, and I'm like, wait, why the fuck does Ketshi need Vincent's help saving him? In Final Fantasy VII, he's one of the most powerful characters. He can just use slots. He's had 3 fucking years to do nothing but practice slots. Like
ton.
Like any
That's a good speedrunning joke. Sorry.
any speedrunners of Final Fantasy VII would like gladly have 3 years to just practice slots so that they could fucking kill it.
But
What the fuck is Reeve doing other than setting up a shitty organization that points the enemies directly at him?
I do love a game with a good like deceptive hook or like a trick that it plays on you. I like to feel like the game is smart, you know what I mean, when I do something. So like if another game did this and was like, oh, you went through all of this but then it was pointless, you know what I mean, like a real Yoko Taro like Nier kind of thing. You go through all this work and then at the end they're like, yeah, fuck you. That would be fine if I felt like it was like artistically on purpose or something like that. But I feel like there's no humor to this. It's just like,
this seems
go
like
through this section, beat all these guys, save the commissioner, and then you get to him and he's like, no, it's fine.
I mean, I guess like the being generous about this section, it's like, okay, he took down the ones that got there, but he would not have been able to take the wave of them if they got through.
Maybe a WRO member just did not know about Ketchi and was like, oh my god, Reeve, he's but a simpleton, a human.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be kind of his move, right? Like, he
there's tons
kept
of, like,
that shit real secret.
Yeah, I can definitely like accept an in-universe explanation. I'm not saying it's like out of... It's not too crazy to believe.
But it sucks. It sucks going
but it is
through
like,
it.
oh, fuck you.
See, I didn't even think of that because, like, with this, I'm just strictly like, okay, these are an hour of gameplay / cutscenes in chunks. So I don't even think like, wait a second. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, video game. Go down hallway. Go back down to first floor. That's fine.
I guess I'm just like, well, if each stage is only going to be an hour long, then, you know, that's only so much space and time. So we better put some cool stuff in here, like, because there's not that much. But instead they're like, yo, what if we just made some real boring shit?
You can really distill this game down completely into just like this, you know, the sum of its parts, which are not very good. It's basically like a visual novel that is playing through like Metal Gear Solid cutscenes to get the story that you may or may not want, you know, depending on how you care about the Final Fantasy VII universe. And then it's just like gameplay where it's like not really interesting. It's fun to go through, but it's like it's not interesting at all. Like,
that's the thing,
we're just
like,
doing the same shit that we did the other chapters.
The thing is, like, I'm incredibly like angry about it, and yet I'm like, God, I can't wait for the next section. I play it and I'm pissed, and I'm like, this sucks ass. Cannot wait for the next chapter. Let's fucking do it. Like, I'm excited to play it, even like I don't know why.
It was kind of like when you explained earlier that your take on this game and whether it either sucks and you love it or it's really bad and you
it rules and I hate it. Yeah,
it rules and you hate it. Yeah, like that. I feel like that sums it up really well for me because for whatever reason, as much shit as I'm talking on this game, I am genuinely enjoying my time with it.
Yeah, me too.
Having fun.
Yeah,
this is the way I like to be challenged by video games. But yeah,
this is the way I like to be challenged by a video game, just insulted.
It's one of those things where I'm like we could have had the same type of sequence but just had it like a plot device feel different, like basically like escape, reach the exit in like Smash Brothers or whatever. That's basically what it was. It's like we've got to like get there as fast as we can.
Race to the finish.
Like,
that's what.
Like, what if at the very end?
And then out comes Calvin and Hobbes at the end.
Like, what if at the very end...
Reeve is just pissing on stuff. Or I guess it would be Ketchi pissing in that.
I do want to make some Reeve and Ketchi like fan art that is just like
Calvin and
Reeve
Hobbes.
being the tiger.
That is so fucking good.
I do like that. It's really good.
Yeah, Ketchi just pissing on shit.
But Reeve says everything's fine. We can go back and help the rest of the WRO, right?
Yeah.
And I think this would be a good time to crack open a cold one.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
We got 2 major events coming up.
I would say we have 3 major events because I'm getting ready to sit in that turret nest from earlier. But we'll get there after we crack open a cold one, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, you know Ketchi's got the good stuff.
By cracking open a cold one, I mean pissing in the refrigerator. Welcome back, baseball fans.
Zemomorph.
Zemomorph.
Welcome back, Zemomorphs.
We're about to Zemomorph, if you're me in my playthrough, where I am hoarding limit breakers like they're, you know, I guess it wouldn't be going out of style.
Is xenoform
but this game
a real word?
certainly, I don't think so. But this game certainly gives you a shit ton of limit breakers, so you should just use them, even though they're incredibly powerful. Because we come out after that, bullshit hallway with Ketchi, and there's a cutscene where down on the first level where we came in, we see Rosso just walking up. Or not Rosso, Azul.
Did you all get in the turret?
Oh, no, so I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Because we see that cutscene, and then we have control of Vincent again.
Oh, that's right. You're sorry.
And there's like a door that we can go in that leads to that turret. But the first thing that's in there is like a briefcase item. And I went to go and pick it up, and it's like limit breaker, but I already had 3. So I was like, okay, I guess I might as well just use one now. So I went down the hallway and like killed the 2 enemies there, and then made it out on the other side, and it was just that turret. And I was like, oh, I like tried throwing a fireball at it to like destroy it, and I didn't. And I was like, all right, well, okay.
Yeah. A very anticlimactic transformation.
My hands are too big.
Yeah, like I was still the Galliant Beast, so I couldn't control the turret.
I was wondering, I was like, did you get in the turret as the beast? Holy shit.
No, so I just turned around, and then when I was walking back through the hallway, it was like I transformed back, and I was like, all right, I've come too far. I don't care about the turret. But tell me about that turret. Did you do anything fun with it?
Yeah, I died for the first time.
Oh
I got game over while I was sitting in it, so that's first time that's happened to me. Only time that's happened to me. But yeah, you can take damage while you're in the turret, and you can be killed. And if
were there enemies?
There are.
Weird.
So once you sit in the turret, a door, or actually several doors on the opposite wall open up, and like a flood of enemies come out, and a mission pops up that says "kill all the enemies," and so you get ranked on that. Yeah,
so it's like a little bonus challenge.
A little bonus challenge that kills you.
Damn. Well, I did not do that at all because I was too beefy.
Too beefed up.
This game does not reward standing still.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, so I died, and interestingly, I think the death mechanics in this game are very good. I was like, oh, that's actually the perfect way to do that. Because I think the challenge with game design now, right, is like, how do you handle lives or losing? And a fantastic way to do it is when you do game over or you get killed in Dirge of Cerberus, you go ahead and go to your turn your experience into Gil or into experience screen.
Oh, nice.
And so all that you've earned thus far, you go ahead and get to use right now. So I put it into my experience, and I leveled up a couple times, which will then make the section easier, right? Because I'm a higher level.
Yeah, so it doesn't like penalize like dying.
Except for time loss going back and doing it again.
Which is the most valuable resource.
Which
none of us can ever get back 5 seasons into this podcast.
It's very un-RPG of it.
Yeah.
In a way. But I do like that you can just kind of grind it like Hades or whatever. Like, cool, I'm still getting stuff from this run, even though I have to start it over.
Yeah.
And you could just grind in an area, even if you end up game overing at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, and, so I thought it was handled...
Actually, it would be really fun is, like, don't even finish this area, just, like, let myself die at the very end just so I can get all this experience and just... And just grind.
Yep. Yeah, I thought it was very...
pretty cool.
Very well handled.
That makes it so you can't, like, presumably you can't really get soft locked in the game where you're like, well, I can't beat this section because I didn't do enough leveling or something. Like, I don't know if this game's going to get that difficult to where that would even be something that can really happen. I'm assuming it could. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Appreciate it. But we can take the elevator all the way down now.
Yes, we can.
I think Carl just walked.
No, I took the elevator down. And then I think I just walked around a bit. Did some exploring. There's nothing worthwhile.
Yeah, there's so now this the door near the jukebox that we saw on the first floor, the atrium, is now unlocked. And I mentioned earlier that there's a really good video of Shademp just flying over the wall and just skipping this whole area. So he just went through that door the first as soon as he sees it.
That rules.
So you can just cut a lot of time out of this run.
Yeah, he's using the actual Vincent from Advent Children, where he can just like become smoke. Mist could pass.
Right.
Do we go through the hallways now, or do we go right up on our first boss?
We go through the hallways, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go through hallways, and now we start seeing more soldiers and more WRO. We're advancing through the corridor, I think, where we saw the blast doors towards, I think, a warehouse or a lab.
Yeah.
It seems very more secure than the rest of the building.
There's another
more sciencey looking.
There's another new enemy type which is just the RoboCop machines or whatever.
It's an R2 unit with a shield.
Yeah, R2D2 with a shield.
It's the fucking scanning.
It can like freaking smack you. I got cornered by like 5 of them. They were all just like completely surrounding me and just like beating the shit out of me.
It's the scanning robot that you have at like grocery stores that
yeah.
just goes up and down the aisles and makes you feel uncomfortable, or gets in your way when you're like trying to grab some cheese or something.
Would I like some help?
It's shielded on the front, so if you shoot it from the front, it only does like a couple damage.
I was trying to lead them closer to me because there are occasional exploding barrels, and I think that of course it'd be more effective if they're closer to it or having the explosive barrel behind them.
Right. So you were actually doing some damage to it. I think when I was shooting it just with whatever build of the gun that I had, I was doing 0 damage.
I was doing like single digits.
I didn't realize,
and thunder damage I think can also just deactivate them.
I ended up using thunder, but just because I thought it like had splash damage. I didn't realize at first that they were like robots. I thought that they were like guys in like gunners. Like when you're playing Halo and the what's it called, the grunts jump in like the gunner thing and you have to like snipe
I do
them.
think soldiers can like ride them like little segways.
I was gonna say actually there was a little guy in R2D2 and C3PO. So
well, Anthony Daniels is not a little guy.
Well, I mean there was a guy, I guess I should say.
Golden Tony.
All robots are just guys.
You're thinking of Kenny Baker.
I don't know what I'm thinking of. What I'm saying is, were those robots just robots, or were they guys and bots? It's unknowable.
And where does that put Ketchi?
Oh my! Is Ketchi a little guy?
So
I feel like I say little guy for things that I like, and I'm not willing to call Ketchi a little guy. I hate him.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's a little scamp. But this sequence is kind of cool.
I love it.
Yeah, the first time we realized that WRO needs backup is we come into the hallway in a perpendicular angle and we see like 4 or 5 Deepground soldiers run by us to the right.
Yeah.
But if you turn left, they weren't coming from anywhere. There's like a wall right there. So they were all just like huddled together and then waiting for Vince to get close. But yeah, there's various gates. So you have to kill all the guys to get the cart key to get advanced to the next segment. I think there's like 3 or 4 gates you have to get through before you reach the end of this hallway, right?
There's yet another limit breaker that's very easy to get here. So I just ran in and I was like, God damn it. And I had to pop another one.
I will say, I think this section is very good at like displaying that it's like a war happening. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of like gunfire that's not directly involved with you. And I was just like, ooh, this does feel intense. It does feel like they're fighting for their lives.
Close quarters feels a little more high stakes than when you're in like a big open space. It just feels very empty because of hardware limitations. So it's easier to kind of make it feel more hectic when you're in a small space.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the 4th gate, there is actually, we see the final gate, which we can either go through, but there's also a secret door to our right before there, where there's like a pool table and a materia pad. You can charge
I didn't find that.
Some Xerox machines and
I didn't find that.
It's like a blast door. It looks like it would be locked.
It looks like every other door.
Yeah, it just looks like a texture.
Yeah, it's just a little secret bump boost if you need some materia.
I don't even know if
I'm so upset right now.
I think I learned that from watching Carl.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like a pool table, isn't there?
I think it doesn't activate until you use the key card or something.
Maybe.
Or like clear out all the enemies or something.
At least I think I know I cleared out the enemies first and then opened it because I didn't want to accidentally trigger.
I want to see if I can go. I'm going back because I think there was a red light above it, and then I think you can actually.
See, this is what a good reason to play the tutorial level, because it actually tells you what the lights above doors mean. Because
so you can actually see the light.
In-game.
Yeah, once you clear all the enemies, it turns blue. It goes from red to blue. So I guess that's a good way to kind of keep on the lookout. Maybe
there's different color codes. Like I think there's like locked doors, there's unlocked doors, and there's like locked but needs you to do a certain thing first.
Interesting.
Not depending on a key.
I still keep forgetting to play the tutorial, but. Yeah, apparently it's helpful. Who knew?
But we go through this final blast door, and there's another jukebox.
Yeah.
Implying that we're about to have a confrontation in the next room.
Which we do.
Yeah. The scene starts up very silly because I was saying blocking is really funny. It's just a very mid shot of just Vincent walking across the screen, and behind we see a little predator
This shot is this shot
the
is
Lilith
mid.
Predator. Yeah.
Lilith Predator.
The little predator.
As in, like, somebody is like cloaked, right? Like we
Yeah,
see
we
like
see like the
someone's-
shimmer
Yeah.
cloak device. And then Shalua, we don't even know what this room is. It's just an empty room, but Shalua is in here.
yeah.
And she turns and whips out a gun, says, "Don't move," and like,
And we think that like she's pointing it at us, right?
because with the way that's actually the framing of this is very very funny because it is just like Shalua and Vincent. Then it pans over, and then immediately we see that girl uncloak, and it says, "Very perceptive of you."
I like how this happens too, because Shalua has the gun pointed. It looks like there's going to be like maybe a standoff between her and Vincent, and then like it becomes obvious. But like
There's a bug on you.
the whole thing,
Don't move.
the whole thing with Vincent, it's like he's completely unbothered by it. Like he just
Yeah.
like is staring at her, and then like the little girl appears behind him and starts, and he just like looks over, and then just like slowly walks next to Shalua. Like
Yeah. He
like he's
kinda
just
walks
continuing to
away.
walk into the room. It's pretty funny.
All of Vincent's emotions are very turned down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
But we get this character's name finally, Shelk.
Yeah, she says, "I knew it, Shelk."
Yeah.
And that is Urdu for orange.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Her eyes go orange when she's getting ready to
when
attack.
she goes in her own sicko mode.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those orange sword beams, which we will quickly find out about.
And yeah, so after Shalua's like, "Oh, I knew it was you," Shelk says, "I have no acquaintances in the WRO," and Shalua says, "We've both changed so much. No, you haven't changed at all. Not in 10 years." And then I think Shelk understands who she's talking to or whatever. Like, she actually does know this person.
Shulk has a little bit of a gasp and kind of like looks away because like
Yeah, I think she realizes who
through
this
this
is.
whole sequence, it seems like she has some sort of either surface level or beneath the surface like emotional reaction.
Yeah.
We don't know like how much she actually remembers of Shalua.
Shelk, it's me. Shalua. I've been searching for you for so long.
So that they're clearly like Shalua's kind of inching closer to her, and Shelk's very clearly like standoffish about this. But we learned that they are in fact sisters, and that Shelk was kidnapped by Deepground and then trained to be like a killer, right?
Yeah.
She needs her daily dose of Mako.
I wrote down daily dose of Mako in my notes too. I was just like, fuck you, game.
Maybe that's why she passed out in that first scene. She's
That
like,
makes sense, yeah.
needs her Mako drip.
She says, I need my daily dose of Mako or this body won't last a day. And I was like, damn, it's a 1-to-1 ratio like that, huh? like, I guess there's only like an hour
I feel
or
like
two.
they could have incorporated that into her character design that had like a cool like tank with like a Mako drip or some shit.
Well, she
Yes.
does got drip. So
That's
I
true.
will say
Don't
that.
even talk to me until I've had my Mako.
I literally said that too.
Oh, so she's like, her and Yuffie have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, like literally we could just have my redo the design, and it's just
Yeah.
her.
We also learned that she should be 19 now, but she has the body of a 9-year-old still. So
Libertarians celebrating.
I thought the same fucking thing. I was like, God damn it, this is just another one of those things.
Yeah. I was like, God, fuck.
But she kind of so she gives us a little bit of her backstory that she was kidnapped by Deepground for the last 10 years. Shalua's been looking for her, but hasn't been able to find her. And while she was kidnapped, she was submitted to tortures unknowable, right? Like she's lived in like immense pain or whatever, and like it's kind of like transformed her body in some way that is now not allowing her to age. And she has some very like extreme edgelord like sayings or whatever. Like
I love it though. It's so good.
However, I don't consider myself the least bit unfortunate. Except that for so long I held on to a foolish thread of hope that someday someone would come to save me.
I know.
It's funny that like she seems brainwashed, but immediately she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember being brainwashed. I used to be happy." Like,
I remember
Yeah, no.
waiting for my sister who I thought loved me. I thought she was going to come and save me, but I just fucking kept waiting. Isn't that weird? Isn't that
Yeah.
weird, Shalua? It's like, stop fucking gaslighting Shalua. She tried her best.
Shulk only knows 3 things, all right? That's gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl bossing.
And eat hot chip.
And she does 5 things: eat hot chip and lie.
I do love the one thing that she says, though. I don't want to just skip over it. I don't think we read it yet, where it's just the pain, the fear.
That's the one.
For 10 years, I lived in a hell far deeper than anything you could imagine.
That's my favorite one. Was the words that I could say.
It reminds me of this old Sick animation, which I don't know if those like hold up particularly well. It was just dumb edgelord Newground shit that I watched as a teenager, probably when I was playing this game. But there's this one where like the guy like meets his brother who was like in prison for so long or something, and he's just like, they play with your mind here, brother, and they play with your soul. Plus, on Wednesdays, we have pizza.
That's amazing. Dude, I feel like Shulk is absolutely the type of character that in like real life, though, would have like a Newgrounds account and like has made Flash movies and like put like super edgy ones and put them up. Has a RuneScape account.
Has definitely logged into 4chan.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, during this thing when like Shalua like approaches her and she whips out Shulk whips out her like one of
I love her weapon.
She has these she has like these like 2-ended like kind of short lightsabers that are connected by like a cable and it's like glowing.
They're like
really
shock
cool
batons or something, but they're
they're like rapiers almost the way they look.
Like
but
one looks almost like it has like a fencing.
Yeah.
But they're like I like that, like, you know, you compared them to lightsabers, and what I like about it is that, like, it's like lightsabers if they didn't have battery packs for them and you still had to, like, plug them into the wall, because she has, like, a little energy pack on her back that they're connected to, and I love that. I love that, like, detail that they're, like, they have to be hooked up.
So my favorite Lego pieces that use, like, fiber optics to make shit glow.
Yeah.
Do you remember those? Those things fucking ruled. Because,
it's,
the wire is just a glowing, like, cable.
Yeah,
it's
I actually thought this was great.
The contrast is very nice.
Yeah,
like imagine if the Ghostbusters used lightsabers instead.
Yeah, but yeah. So then she goes into her like little edgelord monologue, which the camera just does this weird kind of just spin around her.
Oh my god, the camera spin! That's the one I wanted to talk about. What the fuck?
The pain, the fear, and like the camera's just orbiting around her.
It'd be like real good in a music video, but like
it's a little fast. Like
it's really fast.
I appreciate them like kind of trying out new things, but like because of the limitations, there's like no easing into like certain motions, so it just starts like just a very rapid kind of like they really should like slow it down to half speed, and it would have been really like impactful. But instead, it just is spinning around her like Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
I see what they were trying to do because like when the spinning stops, it lands on a frame that shows Shalua in the background. So I get what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like
but they orbited her like 3 times before. They could have slowed it down and just had it end on the same frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, then she like at this point Shalua is crying and Shulk whips out her weapons again and says it's time to put the past behind us, and like she's about to strike down Shalua.
Yeah, and then
it's time to duel.
And then Reeve comes in and scolds her.
Yeah, Reeve comes in and he's like, "Oh, stop this!"
Yeah, he just fucking stumbles in too. It's like
he very comically stumbles in.
It feels like a weird black box theater thing.
Yes,
just opens the door like, "What are you doing?"
He goes, "Jerry."
It's like the Always Sunny episode with the play about the day man and the night man. I'm no longer a boy. I'm a man. And he takes out a gun.
Oh wait, the cables aren't plugged into anything. They're actually just plugged into each other.
Oh, well, I like it less now.
That's like the audio advice that Alex gave us about using our interface and plugging a headphones thing into the feed.
I'm guessing one of them is just powering the other one.
Well, now I don't like it as much, but I was real into it at first. Reeve kind of explains to Shulk, he's like, you don't know how much Shalua's been through looking for you. Like, you think that nobody came to save you because we just didn't care or whatever, but she's been through hell trying to find you. Like, she's lost her arm, she lost her eye. And then he says the crazy fucking line, more than half of her organs have been reconstructed. I was like, what?
I somehow completely missed that.
That had like... surely that happened all at once somehow. Like she took like a cannonball to the sternum or something.
Shulk's like, oh my god, really? And they're like, no, but a bear did eat her hat.
Yeah.
Was it a nice hat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Her priceless organ collection.
I'm gonna start referring.
Do you know how hard it is to find an organ
It's
specialist?
like, well, which half?
Whenever I like eat Taco Bell, I'm gonna be like, oh, my precious organ collection. Like,
So here's the thing, is this half of the organs that she has in her body were reconstructed, or every single one of her organs had more than half of it had to be reconstructed? Because that's a completely different scenario depending on how you look at it.
I don't, man, there's something so wrong about it, and I can't quite put my finger on, like...
It's that it's
more
lame.
than...
Hold on, let me look up something. How many organs do humans have?
Well, your skin is an organ, so, like...
It's true.
Actually, Shalua's skin is just all Teflon.
78 organs, so that is...
So at least
That's like
39.
a solid 30, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least 39 organs have been reconstructed. Which, I mean, like, that's a good for FF7 healthcare, right?
My glands.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's like a WRO thing, Like it might be privatized.
I gotta make a checklist so we can check those. Mouth and nose,
Well,
probably fine. Sinuses, we don't know.
At
Throat,
least
maybe.
At least the WRO is paying is giving their employees a good medical reimbursement, you know what I mean? For their insurance, they can afford it.
Reeve goes back to waxing poetic, and he says, "Not a day goes by where Shalua doesn't suffer the pain of 100 souls." It's like, damn, she had 100 of her souls reconstructed too. Shit.
Isn't that what he was saying about the fucking wind like 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
The wind was howling like 1,000 dead souls. Like, what is it with
Do
you?
not go in there. It smells like 1,000 dead souls in there.
Yeah, he comes out of the bathroom. You might want to give that a couple minutes.
That wind was howling.
That's just his like metric for anything.
Oh, there's a lot of really good lines in this episode. I'm just realizing there's a good one in a little bit too.
Fucking Reeve blew that bathroom up, dog. smell like 500 dead souls in there.
Whomst amongst us. Yeah, Reeve got too drunk the night before and just had hangover shits. It was just awful. He had the natty splatties.
But Shulk is like, shut the fuck up. I've heard enough. I'm going to end her life right here, right now. And Reeve, I guess, shoots the smoke, like the sprinklers.
He shoots a sprinkler, which, like, my understanding of how a sprinkler works is that you have to, like, melt a goo that's on it via heat from the fire, and that's how it turns on.
Yeah.
So I don't know that would work. Maybe.
Yeah, he rolled a crit.
Okay, good point. I'll give it to him.
And then then one of these, something happens where like
that water comes down like 1,000 dead souls. I'm sorry. Okay.
But yeah, Shulk is the kind of effect that's over everything as it's like raining inside is actually really cool. I like the kind of like diffusing of light. It's a very nice. It makes me really appreciate the PS2 era more.
Why did he shoot the sprinkler?
I don't know. I think he wants
uncharged her baton.
It looks like it shorted her baton because as soon as she's about to swipe at Shalua, it just like sizzles out.
But then it turns right back on.
Yeah, because the sprinkler turns back off.
No, the sprinkler's still going.
When?
Like during this scene.
Guys, this plot's not making any sense at all.
Like, I don't know, like, what happened exactly.
Because okay, here's the thing.
Yeah, when we actually start fighting, though, when they turn back on, there is no sprinkler.
That's true. That is true.
I don't know when they turn back on, but
because we run into another room first, though. Before we actually do the fight. Which, yeah, you know what? There's no telling what the fuck happened there. The point is, Shulk swung her weapon. It didn't work for
Deus Ex Machina has been used effectively and not confusing at all. And
it made her sword too slippery.
Although, if you look at it, the sword like clearly connects with her head, even though it's turned off at that moment, and it just goes through her face.
The weird way they shoot it made it look like it just disappeared. Like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what happens.
And then Rosso pops in and punches him through a wall. No, that doesn't happen. But they do run to another room, And then Reeve gives Vincent some bullets and says, use these. And in my notes, I wrote bullets for children.
Wait.
These are some chewable bullets.
Flintstones chewable bullets.
Okay. I hate Reeve so much. I guess I'm just not paying attention to any of his dialogue. I'm just like completely like phasing out everything he says. Because I didn't know that he said, use these. I thought that he just said his next line and no special bullets were given to Vincent or anything. I thought he was just trying to like comfort Shalua, saying, don't worry, the bullets will only sedate her. I was like, that's my favorite fucking My Chemical Romance album. Don't worry, the bullets will only sedate you.
Yeah, because basically what happens, we retreat. Reeve is comforting Shalua. He hands Vincent something. He runs off, and she thinks like, oh shit, he's going to go kill Shulk. Like, don't worry, she'll be fine. But as we'll go into later, I didn't use many bullets during this.
Yeah, you just
fight. You just go sicko mode and just fucking
you just go
up.
sicko mode or blast her with fucking materia.
I did not go sicko mode, and I just tried to fight her like normal style.
Oh, I did the same, and I think that's the first time that I had a Phoenix Down actually have to get used. And I was out of other Phoenix Downs, and I just ended up having to go sicko mode because she is fucking tough.
She's fast as hell.
As she should, like, it makes sense that she would be this difficult. So I was kind of glad that this boss was tough.
I thought this was a very good boss. I
enjoyed it.
You know what it reminded me of a little bit? I mean, very loosely. But it reminded me almost of like the fucking Minotaur in Dark Souls, where like you have an enemy that can reach a lot of area in an incredibly small room, right? Then you're like,
the Capra Demon.
Yeah, the Capra Demon, and like Shulk is crazy fast and can hit you like she'll be across the room and on you in like less than a second, but the room is super small, so there's just like no way to put your like room in between yourself and Shulk because she's always closing the gap constantly.
Also, she's shorter than any enemy we've fought so far.
Yeah.
So I keep overshooting her because she's so small.
And when she runs at you, she zigzags, so she doesn't do it in a line.
Skates like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It's when you're in the heat of the fight, it feels really cool and like very like tense and stuff. But watching it back, like she does have some very cool animation. She does some like Sonic the Hedgehog flips and stuff like that, and like jumps up on the wall and stuff. But when she's moving around and zigzagging, it like her model's just kind of like completely still and like just kind of shifting a little bit. So it's like, what is she just wearing Heelys or something? Like
doing some cool drifts on the wet floor.
Yeah. But like I thought it was a cool boss too, because like she doesn't do a lot of damage at once, but she hits you so fast and like resets her attacks so fast that you're just getting beat down if you don't know what you're doing. Like if you
there
don't
was
have
like
a
a large attack during the second half where she like does something. I forget what she does exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me just look at.
I just realized I actually didn't go sicko mode on this boss. I did fight it just straight up. I had to use 2 Phoenix Downs though.
Okay.
Oh, so when she gets half HP, she'll grow even faster and attack with more ferocity.
I think she also has a shield at some point too, right?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, she sometimes casts Protect.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Which is really rough.
But it's a cool boss. I like this boss. I thought it was well done.
She has a single sword slash, a twirling slash, a leap overhead slash, a dashing sword slash, and an 8-strike combo, which I did get. Devastating Barrage.
You got hit with the 8-way chili.
Yeah, so I threw on a Phoenix Down before this fight pretty early on, just because she was whittling me down pretty fast.
Yeah. It's a good fight. It's got many aspects to it that I think are very interesting. So
yeah, even if the room's not very interesting, the fight is.
Yeah, I feel like the fight is interesting because the room. The one thing about the room is that it is small, and that's what makes.
Yeah, she
it
definitely
so cool.
uses it to her advantage as well.
Yeah. So
yeah,
good boss.
Good boss.
Well designed.
The first good boss.
This is why this game's making me so crazy, because I hate this shit, but then I love this shit.
So Shulk croaks. And Shalua runs in and cradles her and holds her.
She's not
right?
dead or anything, but yeah.
No. She's just she's tuckered out.
Yeah, we've effectively sedated her by shooting her with 7,000 bullets.
With the 10,000 dying
7,000 Reeve bullets.
Bitter beings. And then, yeah, Reeve and Vincent just leave, right?
Reeve and Vincent leave.
I find myself in the room with the the jukebox again, but I'm still Galleon Beast, so it's like I'm me hungry.
Oh, so you were Galleon Beast and then not Galleon Beast in the cutscene, and then Galleon Beast again.
Yeah, it was very confusing. I was sort of like, oh, I wonder if I like did a glitch where I'm just gonna be Galleon Beast forever.
Oh, that
now.
would rule.
I just tried using the machine. I didn't get to use the jukebox, but I would just be imagining like just a big werewolf trying to use jukeboxes.
Yeah, it's pretty nice that they have the jukebox here, so you can refill on any Phoenix Downs that you might have used, or grab some potions because you're probably low on resources now.
And then we start to walk back the way we came, right? Like we're going down into that hallway again.
And then Azul busts through the ceiling.
We see this great big boy. We see West Borland again.
Just one.
And he says,
more.
"Answer me this. Do you even know why you exist?" And like Vincent just doesn't say anything, and he says, "Just as I thought, ignorant to your own destiny. But very well, I'll show you what you really are." And Vincent tries to shoot him, but he has that like magical protective orb that he did in the first episode.
There's actually something that happens here that he shoots a mine that's on the floor that is never addressed. Through data mining, there actually, I think, is a tutorial section, maybe a component to this hallway that was maybe scrapped in the final game, but there is like dialogue of Reeve explaining how these mines work.
Oh,
and
weird.
It's never actually, there's like a little thing on the floor that Vincent just immediately shoots without any like
no fanfare.
He shot the Roomba and explodes. And yeah, we do see like this kind of honeycomb, cool sci-fi shield.
Yeah. It's just, impenetrable. Impregnable.
It goes further to be proven that we can't penetrate the armor because he says, "You think that toy can penetrate my armor?"
But so he starts kind of chasing Vincent, and Reeve's like, "Oh, over here!" He has a way out. So Vincent and Reeve run through the hallways, running away from Azul, and they run into like a big hangar area or like a warehouse section. And
the chase is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
because it's like, you see him and like right before he does the chase, like Azul like runs towards the camera and it has this cool like fade effect and stuff, and you see him smiling and you're like, oh shit. It almost set it up like I thought it was going to be like a Crash Bandicoot level where you're like running towards the camera and have to jump over barrels and he's behind you and stuff. Like that's how it was like set up.
Or like Resident Evil where like there's Mr. X coming down the hallway and you kind of have to slow him down or something like that.
Yeah, you gotta shoot his hat off.
Yeah, you gotta get that trophy. But it ends up just like being more of a cutscene where Azul is chasing after them, and like Reeve and Vincent are both running, but it looks like me if like I'm crossing the street and then the light starts to turn, and I could keep walking and would make it across by the time the light changes, and not a big deal. But like to be polite to the drivers and stuff, I kind of just do a brisk jog to try and get there a little bit faster. Like that's what they look like they're doing when running away from this hulking like monster. It's just like, like they look like Steven Seagal running.
My suspicion is that when they developed this, because like mocap wasn't like a huge thing, they just probably just were, okay, we need some footage of you running, but we only have the office to work in right now. So we have to like run without making sure you like actually running, because you don't want to fucking run into the wall because you only have like a few feet of like working space to work with. That's my suspicion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of things that make a lot of sense, Reeve directs us to where he was, leading us, and it's a gigantic fucking like bazooka, like comically large RPG bazooka. Where he just like Vincent just runs right up to it. Azul still has his like goofy ass smile on his face. Vincent just like picks it up over his shoulder. It's like insanely large.
It's insanely large.
Just turns it at Azul and fires it, and there's a huge explosion that blows both Vincent and Reeve backwards in like an action scene slow-mo way.
Their action jump. I mean, like in my notes, I wrote in all caps "extreme action jumping" for this, because it's like
again a nice like mocap jump of them probably just like doing like a fake jump onto like a pillow or something like that.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Really, really funny.
I do like that Vincent says you shouldn't leave those things lying around.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
And Reeve does like start to laugh, and then we realize like, oh no, Azul's still here.
He's still here,
but his shield is down.
Yep. So we have to get in our second boss fight of the day.
We got to kill him the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. And I know that for the last boss, I was like, oh, it's like Raven from Metal Gear Solid. I take that back. This one's like Raven from Metal Gear Solid.
This took me like 30 seconds to do.
Did you pop a limit break?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did, because I was just like, fuck it. I just got owned by the last boss. I'm just going sicko mode.
Let me tell you what you should do first, or not. Well, the game intended strategy, and then you give me yours.
I saw there's a bunch of ladders, and there's a bunch of like what's it called? Barrels that you can shoot.
Exploding barrels.
I think I started by shooting the exploding barrels a couple times.
He's surrounded by 3 exploding barrels first.
Yeah.
But either way, he has like a Gatling gun.
He has a Gatling gun, and the thing is, he can mow you down real quick if you're out in the open. But there's a lot of...
Occasionally he does like a ground slam that sends like a shockwave, so you have to remember to jump with it. So it's like a big hammer at the same time.
Yeah.
But he moves very slow. He doesn't actually like come towards you. He just walks back and forth, right?
Well, he will eventually walk toward you. So if you hide behind something, he'll try to walk over to that area, and then you lure him to the different barrels and blow them up. But the thing is, you can damage him in any other way as well, so you just don't have to do that. But I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, so what I did was I shot the 3 barrels that would first hit him. Does a lot of damage to him.
It does a lot of fucking damage.
Like he does not take hits. Like I guess it makes sense that he had that protect thing, because he's pretty weak when you can actually hit him. But I started like kind of running away from him, and then he did a slam attack that sent out shockwaves that I didn't see coming, and it knocked me on my ass, and my HP was so low, and I didn't actually grab more resources. So I was like, fuck this, dude, sicko mode, let's go.
Yep.
So I just went into beast mode, and even still, like, you get close to him, if you try throwing the fireballs at him in Gallant Beast form, it doesn't do any damage, so you actually have to get close quarters and attack him. You do a lot of damage, but he'll also just kick you.
Yeah.
And like then you like flop on the ground, and it takes a while to get back up. So it was still pretty slow to fight him, but
yeah, so what I did, because I've done this fight maybe 2-ish times so far, but yeah, basically you can hit he's surrounded by 3 barrels, which you can hit immediately, which I think they almost do like 700 HP each. And then as he's like walking to the other end of the warehouse, and I think you can pick off maybe 1 or 2 more barrels that he walks by, take him down even more. What I didn't realize, and I just realized last night, is up on like different like catwalks, of course there are exploding barrels. I thought you had to like go up and push them, but apparently if you shoot them, they just fall.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
So as soon as he got to the other end, I shot 3 of them that were just above him, and he just immediately died.
I wonder if I know we talked about like the differences between the international and Japanese versions. I wonder if in the Japanese version you actually have to do these like tricks to take them out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if those were added. The ones up above were added to make it a little easier. But yeah, I thought if you would shoot them, they would just explode like every other barrel. But apparently, if you shoot them, they fall and then explode.
Interesting.
I feel like
a different mechanic.
It makes sense that they would have removed the landmine section if they were going to do that. Just because like going from that first boss fight into, you know, a section like that where you'd probably be likely to die into this section, even with like jukeboxes in between, would probably be pretty rough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I also wonder if there was going to be a corridor fight as well.
Yeah.
Which would have... There's a lot of little things that could have been in this.
Either way, though, the correct answer is just to pop limit break and then just fucking go ape shit on him.
Yeah.
Just hit him with the Gallant Beast.
Hit him with
it's also
beast.
Extremely funny when you do that, because then it goes into a cutscene immediately after, and Vincent is not in Gallant Beast form, and instead he's just holding his gun, like pointing it up high to like Azul's face, because he is very tall.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny. You kick his ass as the Beast and then just see that. You're like, oh, okay.
And then he does what Vincent did last episode and falls backwards on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Azul, I mean.
Is he dead? Like he just goes,
You may think this is the end, but
yeah, he's just sneeping.
He's sneeping. Okay.
He's got to get his daily dose of Mako, and then he'll be fine.
Yeah. But that's basically it, right?
That's the end of all the gameplay. Yeah.
We're back in the atrium.
Yep.
And for some reason, Vincent declares he's going to Nibelheim.
He is. He's going to Nibelheim. Yeah. And Reeve Reeve says, "Oh, you're going to Shinra Manor, but that's where." Oh, I understand. So
this is implied that maybe because of his realization with Lucretia's involvement in experiments, beginning of this episode, that he is going to go investigate.
That's how I took it. Yeah,
the gas lab or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it Hojo's lab?
I think it's Hojo's lab.
Yeah, I keep getting them confused. Gas is over by the snowboarding.
Hojo just does so many things that are ghastly. Ho ho. Like 1,000 dead souls.
I was gonna try to work in ghast lighting, but
ooh, it's all right. We'll workshop it a little bit.
We'll hit it back next week.
Yeah.
Understood. However, be on your guard. We have reports of Deepground units deployed in that area. If you wish to enter the manor in one piece, I suggest you use the sewer system extending from the old Mako reactor.
It probably smells like 1,000.
I have been waiting for a fucking sewer section for so long.
So I've.
But Vincent says sewer. How appropriate is that? And I'm like, is this supposed to be ironic or something like that? Oh, and then Reeve says, "Now, as for me and my feline companion,
it's time we found out what Deepground is truly up to."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So yeah, he's very. This episode, Reeve and Shiketshi are very third-person, different entities, I guess.
Yeah. Weird. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter.
I like the theory that Reeve is a robot.
Yeah, Reeve is the robot. Ketchi is actually the real creature.
Real critter.
The real critter.
Which means that he can be possessed by multiple real critters because that one died in the Temple of the Ancients.
Maybe.
I don't like this. You know what this reminds me of?
It's getting too dark.
This reminds me of when I was younger and I found out that all of your cells are individual living organisms, but somehow they make up your body, which is one living organism, and it just bothered me. And now I'm having the same existential crisis over Reeve and Ketchi. Wait.
It's damn, I feel bad for all the cells that have to put up with the way I treat my fucking body.
Yeah, whenever if you scratch an itch, you're just killing a bunch of skin cells. It's I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, fuck them. It's either them or me. So how'd you guys do this chapter?
I don't know. It's been so long since I've done this chapter that the VOD didn't stay up on Twitch. So
nice.
I'm going to assume that I got S rank on everything.
Across the board. Yeah. I got a chapter ranking of A, but I love the way. I won't go down all of my individual stats because who fucking cares? But I do like that if you read down my things, it's bad because I got a B-A-D,
B-A-D.
and then bad C. And then I picked it up a little bit and got my favorite thing ever, which is bass. So I got a B-A-S-S.
Bad C bass.
Bad C bass C.
Bad voodoo daddy.
Bad sea bass.
So yeah, I collected all the Mako for the first time.
Oh, nice.
I think.
Did I get all mine? I got 83% of the Mako.
I
must have just skipped. I think there's a few I just skipped because I'm good.
I definitely didn't get the one with the table in the middle of the room, so that's embarrassing.
There's no VOD to prove that you didn't get it though.
I got a lot of Bs.
Bees.
Bees.
Plenty of Bs. Accuracy rate 45%. Kill chains 28. Magic casted 7. Times KO 0.
Nice.
Oh, I guess the more
38.
magic you cast, the better. Because I had 12 magic casted.
Interesting.
So I guess they incentivized doing that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they incentivized getting the Mako as well. So
they want you being
sense.
extra, so just more number. Number go up is always good.
I like how it's casted, but it's not necessarily hit with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just miss.
Just as you're fighting the boss, you just spam all of it all at once.
Yeah.
The chapter ranking, I think the specific missions now we get, which is assist the WRO members, and I think I let 5 die because I accidentally blew up a exploding barrel that they were next to.
I had 16. I couldn't remember what part of the segment that was in, but you run into a hallway and you just immediately see Deepground soldiers chasing WRO soldiers, but you also immediately see a bunch of barrels. So I just shot the barrel and killed all 8 of the things. And I was like, fuck, because 4 of them were my dudes, so I got 16 out of 20. So
that's better than I did.
I just shot that barrel and killed everyone, and I was just like,
Those were real people with real families, Carl.
I was like, chat, you didn't see that. That was something else happened there.
They know what they were in for when they volunteered. But hurry to the command center. This is where I was thinking that the time, they wish they just showed you the fucking time. But mine said 3 out of 4A.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm guessing that
Yeah, I got 4 out of 4, so I guess under a minute.
I'm guessing it starts at 4 out of 4, and then after every 30 seconds or something,
It's
it goes down a tick.
It's
or
like
something
George Costanza leaving a tip. Where he like starts out with the total potential tip and then takes dollars away.
Reprehensible. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
We love George Costanza, but do not do that.
Do not do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there would have been another one too for the mission that you got with the turret, Curtis, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
so I wonder if there's like always unlockable missions that you can do as well.
To get the best ranking, reach the command center before less than 1 minute is shown on the timer.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So did you get 4F4, Carl?
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. That makes sense. Okay. There are 20 WRO members, and annihilate the enemies. Like after you see Azul, operate the heavy machine gun and destroy as many enemies as possible. So I'm assuming that when you do that, it does show you like the total amount of enemies you could take out.
If you are playing along with the podcast and you did not get an S rank on this chapter, go back and do it again.
We will.
You're not allowed to listen to the next episode till you get an S.
Or
for winners
if you are
only.
listening to this podcast and not playing along, that's probably the ideal way to do it. Now, this game is actually really fun, though.
No, I tell you what, I don't want to color y'all's perception of it or anything like that. I'm afraid to say anything because I don't want to like inception ideas into people's minds. I really like the next level. Like the next chapter is
nice.
the best one I've played yet.
Everyone loves a sewer level, right? That's always the best place to be
You know
in
what?
video games.
It's the rare occasion where like the sewer level's the best level. It's really fucking good.
Nice. Well,
I'm excited. I actually haven't gotten this far yet.
I like how
I
on
like
this on this season we don't have to be like, okay, here's where you need to stop. It's just like, just go until you get the chapter ranking.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
that.
I think
So
that's
far, so good.
That's about it for today, right?
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Thank you all for playing.
I have nothing to say to you.
I don't know if I should be thanked. I killed 4 fucking WRO soldiers when I played. I don't know if I should be thanked.
Yeah, it was posted like a little late, but Shadem posted some cool textures from Edge, which we found out were reused from Advent Children.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Makes sense.
Because we actually do see an area in Advent Children called Edge of Midgar, which I'm curious if that is actually what Edge is actually part of Midgar or not. But yeah, there are like posters and around besides Loveless and the Aerith posters. There's a Nanaki Pet Shop. There's Edge Pizza. There's what else? There's like the Chocobo sign. I'm looking at all the textures. It's cool. Go follow Shademp. That's SHADEMP 88. And there's a lot of really cool goodies from Dirge of Cerberus.
Hell yeah.
There. And they've been a great resource. I asked them a bunch of shit, including how to do the fucking zoom hovering.
Yeah.
Which is completely bonkers.
We don't want to open any more doors during the course of this game.
No more doors.
NMD, no more doors.
Yeah, you guys have anything to announce? No.
No, I don't think so.
I got a new guitar. It's downstairs. I haven't opened it yet. That's what I'm going to do after this podcast.
Curtis.
I'm good. I know. Whatever. It's a red Charvel, a DK24HSS.
Oh.
With red stained ash. You know, that guitar. It looks great.
It looks awesome. It's a very Vincent Valentine guitar.
Oh my god, it's Vincent Valentine colors.
Cool.
How appropriate.
I'm going to go and learn Jenny Was a Friend of Mine on bass.
Oh, you know what?
It's fun. It's super fun. I can teach it to you.
I know, because you posted that video. I'm like, oh, this is a nice song. I'm going to learn it.
Yeah, it's super fun.
What were we saying, Curtis?
Nothing important. I was going to say that I bought a dresser from IKEA. I've been very excited and happy about that.
God, I wish that were me.
Anyone want to set me up for an outro?
What happened in this episode? Alex, would you like to shoot us with the child-sized bullets made for children?
Alex, would you like to replace most of the podcast with...
Would you like to replace more than half of the podcast?
That's my job. Yeah. So thank you to Masashi Omauzu for the music. Leave us a review on iTunes if you so wish. A rating on Spotify if you so wish. Leave a text message or voice message at 530 Materia. We got a voicemail asking us, what is our favorite battle theme so far?
What's our favorite battle theme?
So far of what we've covered or overall?
I think so. I think it was the whole season.
Because there
Not
is
the whole season. Sorry, the whole podcast, I think.
There is one correct answer for the series as a whole, and I think we've already talked about it, but it's called The Extreme, and it's from the best game. And it is from Final Fantasy VIII, which we'll get there when we get there and explain in detail why it's the best.
But far...
that's a good question. So far...
I have my answer. I already know what my answer is.
Yeah, take it away.
I'm a big fan of the 10-1.
Boss battle from FF4.
Yeah, that's a very good
Song
one.
is so good.
You mean from Super Mario RPG? Or I guess that's not the boss theme that plays in. It's just
it's the Kulix boss. Yeah,
I forget how it works. Shit, that's a really good question.
Oh yeah, those are good.
I'm trying to think of which theme it is from Final Fantasy VII, but it would probably be that one.
That one that they did the piano version of in Advent Children when Tifa was fighting that dude.
Actually, you know what? I guess I have to go with the obvious
Genova.
answer. I would say probably Genova would be my
That's a real
go-to.
good one.
That's such
Every
a good.
time I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go.
But no, I think it was Still More Fighting, or Those Who Fight. Is the one that you're thinking of, Alex, with the piano arrangement. That's also really good. I mean, all the battle themes are so fucking good.
Yeah, Nobuo never misses.
Yeah, he really doesn't.
100% success record.
But yeah, ask us more questions. That catch me off guard to where I'm just like, oh, I think my favorite song is all of the songs. Thank you. But yeah, Genova.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you can find us at every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram. You can join our Discord where we've been trying to do a little bit more community events. We just watched Advent Children, as we mentioned. We're going to watch it again.
Last Friday.
We will be watching at the time of this recording, but you will have missed it.
Just go ahead and compress time, and then you can be a part of the watch party.
Yeah. Hack into my computer and get this episode early so you can know about it.
I'm just going to write a script. I'm just going to write a script of all of the comments that I made while we were talking about it, because we're just not doing voice chat or anything, because too much would be going on with that. But I'm just going to take all of the comments and have them post exactly as at the same time throughout the thing.
Like replay chat.
Even at the point where I'm like, hey, Alex, I think the connection is being weird. I'm dropping a lot of things, even if it's not happening that time.
I do like the idea of a Brad Neely-styled narration.
Yeah, that would be quite the undertaking.
Like a graceful gazelle, Vincent leaps into the building, leaving the helicopter fight for another day.
Ketchy walked in, his face was just fucking awful.
That's good.
But yeah, don't worry. The podcast will only sedate her.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
See you next week.
I don't know why I throw up the peace sign while doing that. No one can see this shit but you guys.
I think everyone, you can hear it. You can really hear it on the audio.